wanted to educate.
Mm.
I knew I wanted to give back. I love public speaking. I'm a people person. It's just what I like to do. I like to be in the spotlight. I like to be up front, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's what you're doing with it that matters. And for
Yeah.
me, when I'm up there, I want to be making sure I'm giving something back of some.
Welcome to another episode of the Elevated Barbers Podcast. We are here, season 2, episode 2, and we are feeling very good about today's episode. And so I'm gonna let you really hear from himself who he is. Delmar, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What's up, everybody? This is Delmar, aka the Prince, owner of Royal Luxe Grooming Barbershop, and co-host of the one and only Elevated Barbers. Season 2, we got our second guest ever, and I don't want to put too much on it. I want to give this man a proper introduction and let him introduce himself to
Hold on
you
one
all.
second. I gotta introduce myself too.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna pass the
Yeah,
ball back to you, Brett.
yeah. I pass it to you. You're supposed to kick it back. And my name is Bradford Kelly. I'm the owner of Another Level of Barbering, and I am also the co-host, very happy, very thankful co-host of Elevated Barbers Podcast, and I'm also the coach of the Level Up programs for barber and beauty professionals. And I want to give a little intro to Armani, if it's cool.
Go ahead.
Can I do it just a little bit because I
Run
got a
point
chance.
guard.
I got a chance to get a chance to know this gentleman at a barber expo that I went to in Alameda County Fairgrounds in Dublin. It was called the NorCal Barber Expo. And this gentleman, I mean, he was an educator at the expo. He is a business minded person himself. So I definitely connected with him. And more than anything, he has a heart for the industry that he's trying to give back in as many ways as he possibly can. And so we would definitely love to welcome Fadezbyarmani, Armani Cashaw.
Hey. Appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys for having me on this amazing podcast. I listened to all the season 1. I listened to your first interview when you guys were doing it live for season 2, and I appreciate you guys, man. It's a blessing to be here.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you hopping on the podcast with us, Armani, taking time out your day to be a part of the Elevated Barbers podcast. And as I said earlier, you are our second guest, and we appreciate having you. So, Armani, tell the
Mhm.
people where where you're located at and what barbershop you're in, and how long
Uh,
you've been doing it.
all right. I'm located in Walnut Creek, California, here in the Bay Area in the East Bay. I'm located at Atypical Men's Grooming here in Walnut Creek, right off of Treat and Jones. I've been cutting hair for 12 years. But what y'all say, I was out there being one of them
You
illegal
was a
barbers
criminal
for
barber?
a criminal barber for a
He
couple of
was a
those years.
criminal
I ain't gonna
barber.
lie, for about 6 of those years, I was a criminal barber, if that's how y'all want to call it. I've been licensed for about 6 years, educating for about 4, going on 5 years now, and like Brad said, I just love to be able to give back to the industry any way that I can. And for me, I think I found my lane, and I'm just trying to ride there to be able to change the industry in any way that I can.
I love it, man. One of the things that stood out to me about Armani Delmar was his heart for the industry and the way he teaches, and the way that he goes about thinking about numbers and thinking about just the way that a person is able to change their mindset so that they can change their potential. He fascinated me, man. He fascinated me. So, Armani, if you don't mind, can you
Mhm.
give us a little bit of insight into some of the education that you provided so far for the industry, but just about the changing your mind, changing your potential concept?
The concept all started with myself. I guess you could say it was a learning curve for myself. Was when I changed my mind from just the technical side of what I do and really started to understand that there's a big business behind it. And I realized that once I started to think like that, the potential of what I could do, not only for myself, but for the industry changed. And so with that, I decided to go back and give that information. I've always been educating. It all started off with trying to teach barbers how to add, change their service by adding different things such as facials and hot towels and stuff like that, just to make their business stand out a little bit more. And from there, it was um, knowing your numbers, knowing how to track your business, knowing how to track your finances, because that's what really gives us the freedom. And what really can unlock the key for everything else is really tracking everything that you do. So I really try to go back and teach barbers that if you change your mindset from just the technical side and learn how to nurture the manager and the entrepreneur, that it's really limitless for what you can do and your potential can raise from there.
Man, that's so huge, man. Like for real, like that's so huge because you have to, as Six Figure said, you got to be able to provide the extra level of service from a
Hmm.
technician standpoint.
Mhm.
But it's so much deeper when you're able to provide another level of service from a mental standpoint.
Hmm.
You know, even the fact that you can run your business and understand the specific numbers that you need to track so that you
Hmm.
can hold on to the information that'll allow you to grow. Because so many of us, we out Delmar, you know the same is when you first get into this industry, you just focused on cutting. Like you're not
Yep.
even focused on the business of it. Like you don't even know about the business of it. You know about
Hmm.
the hustle of it. And so you
Yep.
go after the hustle, but there's so much more to it.
Yeah. I agree.
Yeah.
I
You
agree.
don't have a structure in place. And Brad, I learned that from you, just being able to put a structure in place. I was of the same mentality, just out here grinding, as they say,
Yeah.
cutting from sun up to sundown. But you start losing out on time with your people. I posted something about that earlier.
Yeah.
You start
Hmm.
losing out on time with your family, your friends, and just even time for you. Like you don't even have time to like grow as a person
Yeah.
because you're so caught up into what you're doing, you caught up in the hustle. But when you put that structure in place, everything else seemed to kind of fall in place when you set it up properly. That's something I learned from the ALB Academy.
Another level of barbering.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Nah, man, it's been interesting just the journey that you've kind of gone through, Armani. I would love to get into a little bit of your backstory
Okay.
because you know, and this is actually something I just heard recently, which kind of like shifted my perspective on how you look at your past. Um, but they said that your past does not shape your present. They said
Hmm.
really your present shapes your past. It's because it's your growth level when you look back and you look back at what you've been through. You look back at the trials that you may have come through, the successes that you may have had. You look back at them from a particular level of maturity in your current
Hmm.
state. And if it's an immature look at it, it'll be very negative to you. You'll look at
Yeah.
it and you'll say, man, I wish this didn't happen to me. I wish this didn't happen. I wish this would have went better. And all of
Yeah.
those things can be true. But when you get to a certain level of maturity, you turn back and you look and say, I'm kind of grateful that this happened because it shaped this part of me. I'm
Yeah.
grateful that this happened because now I understand how to see things a different way. Like,
Yeah.
so when you look at your past, what would you say has shaped you the most in regards to becoming the Armani Cashew, the Fades by Armani, the mogul that we know right now?
Um, as far as business wise, what had transferred me into this was
Business
when I wanted.
or even personal, like business or personal. It's who you are because you know the business isn't separate from who
Yes.
Armani is.
Yeah.
It's all kind of combined. So
No, no,
a
that's
couple of
that's
pieces.
true. I guess it all started. It really all started one day. It was Thanksgiving, and I want to say it was Thanksgiving 2015. Thanksgiving 2015, and I was working. At no, excuse me, Thanksgiving 2016, and I was working table. I was busting, or I was a waiter, or I was a server at a restaurant at a macaroni grill. And I remember because I was upset because I'm here serving tables on Thanksgiving, and there's all these families coming in. And one particular family, I'll never forget this. They asked me. She said, what are you doing here on Thanksgiving? Why aren't you home with your family? And I said, well, because y'all are here. I ain't got no choice. I'm kind of, this is just where I work. Y'all want to eat, I got to serve. I can't really do anything about it. And it was from that moment on, I decided I needed to take everything into my own hands, and
Mm.
that there just had to be a way. And then I have this mindset: there's nothing that somebody else can do or achieve that I want to do or achieve that I can't. Because if somebody else can do it, if they found a way, then I can find a way. And for me, it was deciding to be able to build something with my own hands and find a way to sustain my own life from it. And for me, it was barbering. I remember I was sitting in the kitchen trying to cut hair, trying to decide what can I do, go to school for that I can make my own living and build with my own two hands, um, and really make something of myself. Because like Delmar said, the one thing we don't get back is time, and I do not waste time. So as important as school and college is, I wasn't going to go back and waste my time doing something I didn't want to do. To get out and find another job that I didn't like, and I also wanted to get married, but I wanted to bring something to the table.
Yeah.
So with all those things in place in mind, is I'm sitting here at 20, 23, 20, 24 years old. I decided I need to go to barber school. I'm going to fully invest in myself. I thought about going at 19, but I was terrified, didn't have the confidence in myself.
Mm.
And that's when I decided I'm going to fully invest in myself in barber school. I remember I told my now wife at the time, she's my girlfriend. I said, look, if you invest in me, if you help me get this $100 barber chair, I'm going to take this and I'm going to build something out of it. You know what I mean? And you won't be disappointed. And from that $100 barber chair, and from the intent, having that decisive purpose that this is where I wanted my career to go, that's when I was able to fully take the steps. It wasn't until I decided that barbering was my purpose and that I could take that and build from that. And that's when it was something that I saw as tangible. Even though I had been cutting hair for years before, I didn't decide for that to be my purpose until those moments.
Mm. Go ahead, D. I know you got some questions on that.
Nah, just you kind of reminded me of myself, man. I was around the same age, about 22, 23, when I
Hmm.
decided to go to barber school. Of course, I pitched this idea to my parents coming out of high school, but
Hmm.
they wasn't having it. It is not that they didn't believe in me because they seen me put in the work.
Yeah.
I kind of imitated Brad. I would go to my friend's house with my backpack and my two pair of clippers. But um like they wanted the best for me. And growing up in their time, barbers didn't make a lot of money, or they
Hmm.
had to do something on the side to provide for their family. But
Hmm.
I was of the mindset of, hey, look, I can do this. I'm not worried about what's been done in the past. I can change that, because I knew the amount of work that I was going to put in. So you just kind of reminded me of myself and was like, I'm gonna work with my hands and
Yeah.
create a future for myself.
Yeah. I respect that. I
Yeah,
respect
man.
that a lot.
When we get into this industry, it is nerve wracking, man.
Yeah.
Like it is very,
It's
very
scary.
nerve wracking. I would completely relate to the nerves that you may feel, when you're first trying to make the decision even to
Hmm.
get into this industry. Um,
Hmm.
and then like I always talk about, well, I don't always talk about it, but it's a part of like some of the education that I speak about is like for you to be the best barber, you really have to, like I use it as an acronym, and you really do have to be brave enough to be a barber. Like
Yeah.
you have to put yourself out there. There's so many different
Yeah.
people that were introverts that loved the art of the craft, and
Hmm.
then they chose to go into it, and then now they don't even seem like an introvert anymore. Like they've
Yep.
gotten out of themselves enough so that they can be great. And being personable in this industry is a requirement, for you to be the one of the best. You know what I'm saying? If you're trying to be the
Hmm.
best that you can be. So I commend you, man, for
No,
getting
I
past
appreciate that.
your fears and taking that step forward. Um, as you've kind of grown in
Hmm.
this industry, some of the things that people do not account for is the fact that life happens, right?
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
life happens, and while
Man.
life is going, you are still building your business. You're still trying to grow as an entrepreneur. You're still trying
Yep.
to grow your clientele,
Yep.
and different things can hit your life you are someone that seems that from the little time that I have known you, you seem as if you are able to balance the way that personal life can hit you
Hmm.
and yet still present yourself as a professional in the industry to your clientele. But how did you do that? Or did you do it? Like, did you like break and it was like,
Bro,
this
I
crazy?
have broken before. I'm not even gonna sit. I'm not. I'll tell y'all a story. I'll tell y'all a quick story. All right, and
Story time.
this is a story time because I have, in a sense, broken out of that full professionalism. You know, I used to have. All right, so backstory. I had my own private studio for about 2 years, and before I was at the shop that I'm at now. And I remember it was early 2022. I was going through some stuff personally, and I had a new client in my chair. It was his first time, and I remember he was telling me he was a pastor or something. He was he did stuff in the church, and at the time, and you know, for me, my studio was always a place I made sure it was the safest space for not just my clients, but for myself as well. And I don't know why, but I couldn't help holding in the things I had going on in my personal life. And so I'm talking to this guy, and I start crying. I start crying as I'm talking to this guy, and he was my client for a couple weeks. He started to want to do extra early appointments and things like that. But what I'm saying is I got out of the full professionalism, like to be able to put that to the side and to just, I just couldn't help but let go and just start talking about the things that I was going through personally. Now, I don't say that in a way that's saying it's wrong to speak about certain personal things with your clients, because I do feel like that's one of the benefits we have as a barber, that we're not only therapists for our clients, but for the right clients, they can be therapists for us. But
Yeah,
I do sometimes when I look back on that moment, as much as I couldn't help but let go, because sometimes we just can't help it. And for me, I'm an open person. I become very vulnerable now, especially I go to a lot of therapy, so it's helped me be that comfortable. But being in the space that I was in my studio, and just feeling like, I don't know why I felt like I could speak to this client, but everything just came out.
yeah.
So that particular moment, everything, and I just couldn't hold back the tears as much as I tried. I was trying to cut them, like wipe my eyes at the same time, like, but but I just couldn't. I just couldn't. And so I guess that for me is one of the times that has happened, and I don't feel bad about it. I know I'm not sorry about it, because he was able to be there for me too, as an individual, as a person, honestly, as a black man to another black man. So it felt good.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't cut that guy's hair anymore, and there's no real reason why I do or I don't. Was never said. And sometimes I wonder, what did I get too personal that one day? Did I,
Oh, he
you
left
know?
right after that conversation. Like,
No,
oh,
no. But it was one of those. He was very new. He was
Mm.
new. I think that happened like the first or second time I cut him. I cut him a couple times after that, but he was one of those clients who was like, "Hey, I know you don't cut early, but can I get it like at 8 a.m. every other Friday?" And for me,
Mm.
I was like, "Well, coming from my house, there's a lot of traffic, so I don't cut that early, so it's going to be an extra cost. Like I usually don't
yeah,
start till 10 because of the traffic and everything."
yeah,
So I was like, "If we're going to be doing this, it's going to be an extra." So I was, maybe it was just because I couldn't, just the timing and how much it costs. After a while, he was like, maybe I'll just try and get in somewhere else. And so it really, you know how it is. Sometimes
yeah,
that's just how it
yeah,
goes with clients.
yeah,
But I was very open that day. I couldn't help it. Life was
yeah.
life. Life was life in that day, and it does. But Brad knows I've gone through a lot, especially in this year alone. With losing my mother last month,
Yeah.
or a month and a half ago in August. But I think it just comes down to just having to take the time for yourself for the times that are needed, and understand that you do sometimes have to take a step back from behind the chair or from wherever it is you're working to have those times, because life does life. And as much as we do work, we're not our jobs. It's just a part of who we are. And so we do have to take that time back for our mental, whatever it takes. And so we can get back to doing what we do. Even earlier this year, I was going through some stuff. I had to take a step back from teaching. I had just got in a big role on doing some education, but I had to take a step back due to personal reasons, and then get back into it as I felt like I could. So it's just for me being able to step back and then come back in, but constantly, I make it seem like I'm always doing something, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's just, I find the time to have those mental breaks for myself, really, to keep it real with you. Therapy helps, for sure, for myself.
And Armani, I want to piggyback off of that, man, because I don't think we talk about that enough, especially as entrepreneurs. We think that we always have to go, go, go.
Mm-hmm.
even through things that might come up in our life, we feel like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, well, I can't put what I'm doing to the side. But if you don't take care of yourself or take care of your mental, then you're not going to be able to
Mm-hmm.
take care of your clients or take care of your business because
Exactly.
you're so distracted by everything else that's going on, or you're so burdened by everything else that's going on. You
Yeah.
will break down,
Oh.
and
Oh. Yeah. You
you
will.
will break down. I mean, that's as men, we kind of be macho and like, oh, I'm
Mm-hmm.
good, but nah, man, it's life, bro. Like,
It's life. It's
man,
life, and
woman,
we
whatever,
all
it's
go through
life.
it.
We all
Yeah,
go
man.
through it, man. We all
Yeah.
go through it.
Yeah. To keep it real, my wife and I, we've had to go through infertility for the past 5 years. So having to go through that while continuously building my career on the side is just kind of it's helped me learn how to compartmentalize. You know what I mean? It's helped me be able to understand that you're going to go through things at the exact same time. And slowing down doesn't mean you're stopping. You
Yeah.
know, going through a hard time doesn't mean that you have to let everything go. You just have to take a breath, get those mental times because it makes a difference.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
and
it's
like
oh
I'm
no, go
sorry,
ahead.
Brad.
Oh,
It's like you said, is slowing down is not stopping. You
Hmm.
still moving forward, but
Oh
hey,
yeah.
I need a break right here.
Hmm.
I need a mental check. I'm gonna
Yeah.
get back to this, but I just need to take a break right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I was about to say because I remember listening to this speaker one time, and he was talking about how life is such an interesting thing, and he
Hmm.
said how when you take somebody that's in a hospital, right? It can be so much going on. They could be strapped up, all kind of plugs on them, different things of that nature. But when people are aware and understand life, they can look at how you're plugged up, and then
Hmm.
they'll be like, oh, he's stable. Like he's stable. Like you are completely out of it, but
Hmm.
in reality, you're stable.
Yeah.
You're just taking some time to recover, allow your body to do what it's supposed to do. And then
Hmm.
from that time that your body is supposed to heal itself, then you can get back to your mental situation and now you can produce more. And so that's what we got to do sometimes in life.
Yeah.
Like sometimes in life, you have to take time to understand how to detach yourself from the business itself and
Hmm.
take care of the owner. Take care of the owner so that the owner can run the business the best way possible.
Yeah. Ooh. Ooh.
That's some
Gave me goosebumps
gems,
there for a second. Gave me some goosebumps for a second. But you was preaching.
some gems.
It's just it's a passion after you get into this industry for a little bit, man. When you start to really have gone through some things, you've kind
Oh
of
man.
you 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 kind of put yourself in a situation where you want to make sure that you're a benefit to others. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Hmm.
And so, how did your journey, if you don't mind sharing, how did your journey into education start? Like, where did that come from?
It started in barber school. And I'll say that because a teacher kind of called it before I did. I was when I was in barber school, I was one of the gold students, one of the top barbers on the floor, and I was always helping
Killing
all the
it.
other barbers. Yeah, I was killing it, man. Helping barbers, especially the Cosmos cut. Trying to give any kind of tips and tricks that I could at the time. And I remember, and I'll never forget the teacher, Miss Heidi. She was said, or the instructor, Miss Heidi. I was on the floor and I was helping somebody, and she said, Armani, you're gonna be an educator one day. And I was like, man, get out of here. No, I'm not. I ain't gonna be no educator. Man, I want to educate. And I remember about a year and a half after barber school, I've always been looking for something. You know what I mean? You know when you don't know what you're searching for, but you're searching for something.
Yeah, yeah.
So even while you in the shop, you're happy, but you're not content because you looking for something. Certain barbers you just want a little bit more, but
Yeah.
you don't necessarily know what it is. I knew I wanted to make an impact. I knew I wanted to have a presence in our industry, but I didn't understand how to do so. And I remember, maybe I'll go start, try and educate. Because I remember I was the one in my shop doing the extra stuff, doing the extra services, doing the hair color or doing the facial services and stuff like that. And so I was like, okay, if I can go back to the schools, I can teach them, yeah, start doing these little extra tips and you can kind of get that little extra money on your ticket. That's kind of where it started was understanding how to raise our ticket because when I got my license, it was $25 a haircut. You know what I'm saying? So I was trying to figure out the best ways to
D,
optimize
you
my
started
time.
high.
Oh yeah,
You
y'all
started
probably. I mean,
high.
For
Brad, you
real.
probably started. You, I know you've been cutting since the Stone Age, so you was at like $7 a cut. But hold on, that was when I was licensed. You know, when I was a criminal, that was $5, $10 a cut. So
Oh
don't
yeah,
get it
yeah,
twisted.
yeah.
Now I was giving free haircut. Hey, let me cut your hair, please.
Right.
Um, but it started with that honestly, and so I remember I was telling I would always tell my coworkers, I'm gonna go teach a class, I'm gonna educate. Man, you ain't gonna educate. And so I remember my first class was down in Fresno, back where I went to barber school because I lived in Fresno from 2015 to 2018. And I just called them up, hey, can I just come do a little demo for you guys? And they, oh yeah, of course, yeah, come on back. I drove to Fresno, got packed up my car, drove to Fresno, made it like a little 2 day thing and never looked back from there. I knew that I wanted to educate.
Hmm.
I knew I wanted to give back. I love public speaking. I'm a people person. It's just what I like to do. I like to be in the spotlight. I like to be up front, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's what you're doing with it that matters. And for
Yeah.
me, when I'm up there, I want to be making sure I'm giving something back of substance. I just want to get people comfortable in our industry as an entrepreneur, not even as a barber, not even as a Cosmo, but as an entrepreneur, as in like I'm comfortable, like even though I have a slow day, but I'm mentally comfortable because I know why. I know my numbers. I know the things that go into business instead of just why am I slow? What do I do? There's
Yeah.
so much more that goes into it. So it's yeah, why are you slow? What will you do about it? How will you look at it? How will you approach it? And then when it comes to business, like Brad said, how are we going to get from being behind the chair? It's so hard to go out of your house every day and physically create a dollar bill because that's what we do. We go
Mhm.
outside and we try to create a dollar. We don't go outside. We work for people work for their money when they go clock in. When we work for money when we cutting hair, but we still got to figure out how to create that client. We still got to figure out how to get those dollars in our chair. And so, as much as I love cutting hair because I do love it, I'm starting to realize that there's just so much more in our industry that I've always knew that there's more that I could do. But it was when I found my lane of education and understanding that there's things that we don't know as far as business that aren't taught to us.
Yep.
You just don't know. I remember when I wanted to go buy when we wanted to go buy our first townhouse, and they was looking at me sideways because I couldn't even or I
Yeah.
wasn't tracking nothing. I wasn't doing this things
Mhm.
right. I was like, okay, so it's starting to click. It's starting to click. I can't be just claiming the bare minimum on taxes. I can't just be claiming $12,000 on taxes and it's the bare minimum. It's not going nowhere for me. I have no shame in
Mhm.
saying like I was doing what everybody else does or
Yeah.
everybody else,
Yeah.
at first because we don't know. All we know is I'm gonna go in this industry, I'm gonna make some quick money, and that's it. But if you want to be able to be of substance, if you want to be able to be of substance for somebody else, be rather your spouse or your child
Yeah.
or just yourself, you have to get out of that. I feel so much
Mhm.
better not trying to cheat myself by saying I'm only claiming this much, or because I know how much I make, I know how much I claim, I know on paper I can go, to the taxes and know my taxes are filed. I can go and prove my income if I want to get a car or apartment, or even if I try to, go get a loan to buy a house or something. I know I feel more comfortable like that than saying, "Oh, I got all this money in my back pocket." You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so for me, it was trying to now it's for me it's trying to give all the other barbers the information on trying to do that. What you do with it is on you. You know what I'm saying? You could lead a horse to water, but I can't force you to drink or take the water. But what I can do is give you the information. And for me, it's about giving back. And you have to be you have to be receptive to giving. And so I try to give as much as I can.
Yeah, and I just want to highlight something that you said. If any of you young barbers listening to this episode, please take heed to what he said. If you're trying to move forward in life and get a house and provide for your family and all that, show your money. Stop hiding your
Mm-hmm.
money because they
Stop
will
hiding
look
your
at
money.
that and they go back
Mm-hmm.
as far as 2 years. So if the first year you was hiding your money, and the second year you decided to show it, and I'm speaking from experience because I did that. And I was trying
Mm-hmm.
to get a house 2, 3 years ago and couldn't. But
Mm-hmm.
like Amani said, when I found out that's how they do it, oh, okay. So now I got to go through this. I got to pay this. But
Mm-hmm.
do yourself a favor. Just show your money.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's loopholes to not
There's a
having to
lot of
pay Uncle
things.
Sam a whole bunch of
Mm-hmm.
money. You just have to talk to a CPA or whatever. But we're not going
For
into that. I
sure.
just want to tell y'all,
Not
show
yet.
your money.
They
Yeah,
not yet. But
show
yeah,
your money. I
show
can't
your
give y'all
money.
everything. Show your money.
Hmm That's a
show,
class somewhere.
show them the
That's
money.
CPA. That's a
Yeah.
class somewhere. But
Show me
show
the money.
your money.
Yeah, show them the money.
Hmm
Man, it's crazy, man, because you really don't you don't even comprehend the benefit of it. Like you
Yep.
don't
Hmm.
comprehend the benefit of
hmm
allowing the IRS to tax you. Like you don't get it
You
because
don't understand.
you think that you're going to keep more money by
Hmm.
not showing the money. And really, your money got a complete your money is in a box. Like
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
money can't do nothing for you while you
bro.
holding it like that.
Nothing.
You losing money literally by just having it in the savings account.
Yep.
Mm.
Like you're
Bro,
basically
literally,
literally
if
like
you don't have an IRA or something that has some, come on, man, a little compound interest, you're losing your money. But these are things that I'm even still now learning. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I have
yeah,
no shame in that. But for me, it's now as I go back to schools, nobody knows it. So
Hmm.
boom, let me give these things back.
yeah.
Everybody in our industry, the biggest barbers in our industry finds a way to give back the best way that they can. And
Yeah.
that's really what it comes down to. And hold on, real quick, side note to my gentlemen, I know y'all like to read. Have y'all read The Go Giver?
The
The
go
go
giver.
giver?
Go Giver. You will love it. You know
I've
what?
never heard of that book.
Yeah, it's so another side note, I'm trying to join this like this e-commerce entrepreneurial group and to get a entrepreneur business mentor and things like that.
Mhm.
Which is that business meeting I was telling you about tonight, Bradford. So we had our first meeting last week, and he said for us to move on and for our next before our next meeting, I want you to read this book called The Go Giver, or it's an audio book. I got
Yeah.
about 2.5 hour listen, and let me tell
Oh,
you,
I'm getting it.
oh my gosh, it is an amazing listen, and it just reaffirms the things that we know and that we talk about pretty much. And I'll just break it down because it has the 5 laws of success in there. I can't tell y'all about it. You have to take my class later because I'm gonna teach on it later on.
Oh,
I like that
Oh
plug. I
yeah,
like
my
that
class.
plug.
Come on
yeah.
now, yeah, I'm gonna teach about. I'm already putting the class together about the 5 laws it takes to be successful. But I'm gonna just break it down. The biggest thing, the biggest key to success is giving.
Mm,
Simple. It's
yeah.
giving. If you want to get more back, you have to give and be open to receiving, and just give more. You have to give more than you are expected to get back. And that's just really what it comes down to. And people think that it's weird to say so or weird to think that, but it's really true.
Yeah.
The biggest people or the most successful people are usually givers, and I can attest for that in my own personal stand. I've been giving away education for years. I've been just going to schools giving education. I wasn't expecting anything back. I wasn't going around getting paid lots of money or anything like that. But the more education that I gave, the more I got back. Because one, I learned how to educate more. So then it's like the more I educated, the more I wanted to learn. So it just was a cycle right there. More people I'm helping, and now the opportunities have grown. Bradford, we just met, was teaching at an expo. That wouldn't have happened if I wasn't going for years giving education and continuously learning.
Yeah.
So that's just a little quick plug. Little sizzle for your little sizzle for your spirit right there. Get y'all
That's
interested
great.
in what I got coming for you. But the
That's right.
secret is giving and understanding the proper way and giving without expecting return. And understand how it's not 50-50. You have to learn how to give 100%.
Mm,
And that if you know how to give 100%, you'll get back everything tenfold. It's all about, it's just like tides. It's just like tides, but it's just in your everyday life and understanding how to do so. Bradford, what we got? What's this project we got right now? We got Fade Talk going on. What's Fade Talk? That's not even about me. I just want to give other barbers
yeah.
a platform to tell their stories, and in turn, that's also helping my business just slightly grow. That's what's been going on. It wasn't I'm gonna do Fade Talk and we finna eat off of this. No, it was let's just keep giving these amazing barbers a platform to speak, and
Yeah.
in turn, it goes both ways, and the connections build and things like that. That's this how it goes continuously. And so for me, I'm learning that these are the secrets, and now I'm just learning how to use them. You get what I'm saying? And that's just really, it's not for my benefit, it's for the benefit of everybody. I'm just a part of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I
Hmm
like that, man. That's basically how me and Brad came with this podcast, the Elevated Barbers Podcast.
Yep.
We was on another platform speaking, um, and then the idea just kind of sparked. So basically, that the the purpose of doing Elevated Barbers is just doing what you said with Fade Talk, like giving barbers a platform to speak on, and just building those relationships and those
Mhm.
connections, and just I don't know, man, like just really giving out game, because it's
Yep.
it's so much game out there, so many people who are willing to learn, but they don't know who to go to, you know.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we have a Brad with ALB and Elevated Barbers Podcast, Armani
Mhm.
with the Fade Talk Gems that he be dropping in the oh, what's the thing you do every day? Your barbecues.
Barbecues. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
barbecues,
I need
man.
to drop.
I
I need
really
to
be
drop a
enjoying
few.
those.
I appreciate y'all. I need to drop a few. I have been slacking on that since I got the Fade Talk going, but I have about 20 barbecues in my notes that I need to just record. That's just all it is.
Yeah,
I appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
absolutely, man. This is what we talking about right here, man. This is what Elevated Barbers Podcast is all about. That was like five
Elevated barbers.
gold gems, like
Yeah.
gold gems.
Yeah.
Man,
Definitely
man,
gonna look
man.
at that book. I'm definitely gonna look at
Oh,
that book.
please.
I,
It's it,
uh,
it 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 just raised to my top three favorite books.
I just I just found out about a audio book listening app called Headway.
Ooh,
Have you heard of that? It's an
I have
app,
not.
and it will pretty much read a book to you, but it also can give you like a summary. So it'll go over the
Oh,
chapters and give you like the main points of the chapters, so that
Hmm.
you, if you don't have the time, to sit there and
yeah.
listen to a 2.5 hour situation. Because for me, I know my time is like, I don't have a lot of like just consistent time. I got like broke up pieces of time because everything else is, I got my big rocks already. I
Mm-hmm.
got
Mhm.
already got
Mhm.
my big rocks. And so trying to fit it in, sometimes I'd have to do it on the commute, or sometimes I'll
Yeah,
have to do
that's
it.
how it was for me too. I was a commute
Yeah,
listener. I'm a big commute listener, podcast or everything.
Yeah.
If I'm in the car, if I'm walking my dogs
yeah,
or something, or even in between clients, if I get a little bit of time in between clients, significant time that I could really dive in, because I like to take notes on like these kind of things. Like I like to take notes on them, so I want to be able to take a couple notes or at least get a chapter in.
yeah.
And 2.5 hour listen, honestly, I promise you, it's not that bad. I could have finished it in a day. Really, I finished it in about two.
Well, yeah.
Um, it was and it
What
was
kind of
really
movie on
beneficial.
Netflix or something?
We watch
What
all
you
kinds of
find?
movies, binge watching, everything else we do. All so we could find some time for a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, real
Yeah.
talk.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I thought this was really really cool, Armani, and
Hmm.
maybe you could kind of share a little bit about it. Your hunger for going to expos.
Oh yeah,
Hunger for going to expos. I want to tap into that just a little
yeah.
bit
His
because
face just lit up.
oh yeah.
Because I love you. 'Cause, it's funny because I didn't always have it. I
Yeah, I
actually
know I
stopped
didn't
going to
have it, and I
expos.
still kind of don't. I go because
I
I do it
love it.
because I know it's necessary. Like I know it's
Hmm.
necessary for growth in this
Hmm.
industry, because you have to expose your mind to more things, and a lot of times you can't expose your mind if you don't expose your body. So you have
Mm-hmm.
to bring your body into the environments that will allow your mind to be expanded. And
Hmm.
so I know that I kind of got to get out of my own comfort zone. And so that NorCal Barber Expo, bro, like that was me outside of my comfort zone completely. I was like, this was a whole new world, man. Like a whole new world. And so you were one of the first ones
Hmm.
that made me feel comfortable,
Oh, I
because
appreciate that.
we connected on something very similar, and then we like laughed, like we could laugh, and so
Oh
everything
yeah.
else was like I was kind of like a little bit nervous and trying to get in there and didn't really know, but then we connected, and then the
Hmm.
next day it was just it was so good because it was almost like
We
we've
were
been
locked.
friends for years, like
Bro, that's what everybody keeps saying when they see us. Y'all just remember? I thought y'all was friends. So I thought y'all been to each other. Like, nah, I met him like last night.
yeah,
We just brothers. Look, it's just genuine. It's genuine in
yeah,
Yeah.
the beginning. When it comes to expos, at first I was competing. So and I kind of liked them, didn't like them too much because I was competing, and I didn't like that I had to wait around all day to find out if I won or lost. I won a couple, I lost a couple, but I wasn't networking the way that I do now. I didn't have that business mindset. So
yeah,
at the time, I was just going as a barber, strictly as a barber, strictly thinking I'm a cut, and then I'll go check out a booth or two, and then what? And
yeah.
so I stopped going to
Did you
expos
get
for
you
a
some
little for a few
discounts on
years.
your clippers? And that was it.
Shoot, man, don't we see them? They say they discounted, but are they really discounted? Things be expensive
They
at that
they,
point.
they felt like they was discounted. I
Maybe
must believe the hype.
They give you
yeah,
$3 off.
it's something like it. We gonna give you 2% off. Um, but uh, I wasn't fully going. At least I didn't understand how I could utilize expos at the time, so I stopped going for a little bit. And also to keep it so real, Sundays were, it was my off day. So that was the
Yeah,
time I could spend at home with my lady. And I didn't want to, at first it was tough to get her, not even to get her to understand, but even for myself to understand that this is also just as important work as me being behind the chair. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like going and learning how to network and properly networking with a purpose is just as important as cutting hair if I want to expand my business outside of the chair. Like just hitting up these brands and these people up on Instagram and posting a haircut is not it's not enough.
mm-mm.
It's not going to do it.
Trying to get
Nobody cares.
reposted.
Trying to get reposted, all that crap, stuff that, at first when Instagram started popping for the barber industry, that stuff that wasn't doing it for me. And so then I had to kind of realize that, okay, it's time to start using these battles. And it's time to start using myself and using and trying to build an influence and trying to build connections and like I said, I'm a personable person. So it's about the time to start using these battles for that. And so from there, now, I'm gonna start giving y'all my trade secrets. Don't tell nobody these trade secrets now,
We gonna keep
because these
it.
are the things
This is
that
hey,
you keep.
this is
Let's keep. We're gonna keep it right
I'm
here.
gonna let you know
Keep
that
it
right
real
now. This is gonna
confidential.
be
All right, cool.
A1 classified. Go ahead
It's
and
so
share.
I like I said, I like to stand out, and I would been the whole goal from the beginning was to build a presence for myself and understand how to do it organically. And so it went from battling to, all right, let me try to connect with these people. Let me take some classes too. I started taking classes. I started to, okay, let me start taking barber classes to elevate myself. And let me start talking to these people throwing these battles about if they, because they always hit you up. Oh, you want to battle? You want to battle? You want to pay to battle?
Yeah.
No, but I'd love to showcase. Uh, can I showcase? So reaching out, I know you guys are having a battle. Can I showcase? So I won a couple battles, and then they're like, all
For
right, he's
those that
winning. He
don't
can
know,
showcase.
for those that
Mm-hmm.
don't know, what's the difference between battling and showcasing?
The difference between battling and showcasing is battling, you're there to compete against a bunch of other barbers cutting at the same time as up to maybe 20, 25 barbers, depending on how big the battle is, for a belt, trophy, prize money. Great. It is great recognition. It's fun. If I always tell barbers, if you want to learn how to cut faster, battle. It'll give you the experience to try to give a quality cut in a faster time frame. That's something that's
Mhm.
helped me throughout the years. But and showcasing is when you go to the barber expos and when you cut, but you're on a stage solo, you have a time slot just for yourself to cut on stage, usually by yourself, maybe in the middle of the expo on off to the side or somewhere. For me, I like to showcase because it gave me a chance to be on stage solo and not mixed into a crowd. It gave me a chance to show off my skills by myself and to be able to network with not just the barbers around me coming to stop and see my work, but now with the booths that have the products, that have the clippers and things of the such. So as you showcase and giving a high quality cut, because let's just say it, usually when you're battling, everybody's giving a good haircut, but it's hard to single yourself out amongst a whole
Yeah.
bunch of barbers. There's the politics that go on with these battles and everything else goes under the
Hmm.
sun. So it's just a little harder. So if you strategize, if you do it right, while also building a presence, because I couldn't just showcase, I had to continuously be trying to build myself outside of these expos and make myself somebody who they wanted to have on stage by themselves. Um, and I was asking if I could educate, didn't get no yeses at the time because I still was bringing my education up. That's fine.
Yeah.
And having brands at these booths saying, "Oh, I like your cut. Here, use my product on your cut real quick. Use my gel. Use my wave grease. Now let's link in. Let's link in. Let me share your work." And it goes from there, building those relationships. So being able to showcase. That's why if I go to a battle and if I go to an expo and I'm bringing my clippers, it's only because I'm going to be showcasing or educating. I was battling last year, and it's not like I don't like doing it. I do. It's fun, but I want to bring something else. And now I don't even really showcase too much because now if you see me at an expo, if I'm on stage, I just want to educate.
Look at him.
That's what I want to give back. Like the showcasing was to help build my brand and help to build my network and just to help to get me to where I wanted to go. And so now it's going on to the next stage of being on stage to showcase, but I mean to educate. But the biggest thing with these shows is networking and networking with a purpose. That's why I go. I go
Yeah.
with an agenda. I go to shake hands and I go to meet people I've never met, like yourself, Bradford, which is why I went to the pre-party that night before. It wasn't to
Yeah.
party, it was to network and to meet the bigger barbers because honestly, the biggest barbers in our industry, we look at all of these barbers as celebrities because of all of our likes or the followings or whatever you're doing. But then when you sit
Mhm.
down and you talk, you have these genuine conversations. Everybody has so many gems, and we like to lock in. Like I tell
Yeah.
like people at the shows, come lock in with me. Let's talk. Let's connect because you never know what kind of relationships could be built. You never know what could happen. So I stopped the partying at the expos because I used to like to have a drink or two at the expos. I used to like to go out there and have a good time,
Yeah.
and then I turned it into business. And even Brad, we went to Vegas on straight business. It was nothing else. It was
Nothing but
there. Everybody's like, y'all was in and out. Yeah, it was business. That's all it was. We had a mission. And that for me, and I've realized that my business has been able to grow significantly from doing it that way than going. And I enjoy myself at these expos. Don't get me wrong,
yeah.
but I just do it
Mhm.
with I do it all in the parameters of my goals and what my intentions are, and I've realized I've been able to significantly grow. So expos can be amazing if you do utilize them, but if you just go on and stand in the background just to be another number or another ticket in the person's pocket, and you're not going to really get something for yourself, or you just what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're not going there with a purpose.
Yes,
I've been
sir.
a part of two. I actually competed in one, my very
Oh
first
man.
one. I
I
should have
never knew
won.
that.
Yeah, I should have
Never
won.
knew
This
that,
was back
G.
in 2017. It
Hmm.
was one here locally in Baton Rouge, but it was a big show. And I competed. Everybody was saying I should have won, but you know how Marty just said, politics. The guy who
Things
did
happen.
win, he's from New Orleans. The judge was from New Orleans, and he
Hmm.
had just got out the hospital, so he had this 30 for 30 story,
Oh
and they
man.
gave it
Hey,
to
bro,
him.
you
Had
can't
the
stop a good
violin.
story. He was
Yeah,
Tom Brady going to the Bucks for their first home Super Bowl. That's what that was.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely, definitely.
That
And
man
then
had
I,
soft violin music playing while he was
Yeah,
going.
yeah,
yeah.
saxophone in the back off of Boys in the Hood.
Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
But then I had a chance to go to a Bonner Brothers hair show too. They actually did one here in New Orleans, well, out in New Orleans, and I was able to go to that one. And my mindset for that one was just to soak up as much as I can, to make connections. I connected with Kyrie. I don't think he cuts anymore, but he's based out of Atlanta.
Yeah.
And what's the guy name? He cut real fast. Oh, OG Walker. I had a
Oh,
Okay,
chance
okay.
to,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
had a chance to sit in his class and connect with him. But like you said, man, we look at them as celebrities, but they really genuine people. So
Hmm.
most of
Yeah,
them, not all of them.
most of them, there are them the celebrities. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
And
yeah.
nothing against
Right,
that because you get your status, you deserve to feel however you want to feel, and you get what I'm
right,
saying. Everybody wants to feel like a celebrity. I don't care
right.
what you say. That's just how it is.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I said, it's just about what you do with that celebrity, that influence, that exposure, whatever you have. What are you doing with it? I think that's what matters the most.
yeah, definitely. But it's
Mhm.
it's definitely a learning experience if you go there with the purpose to learn and to connect and build
Oh yeah,
relationships and not to
uh,
just go there and, like you said, party.
yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
agree.
that's all I thought that I was nervous. That's what I thought it was gonna be on that Saturday night. And I was
Oh,
telling
that
my wife,
pre-party? Yeah.
yeah, I was telling my wife, I was just like, man, like barbers be turning up. Like
Hmm.
I'm not trying to be out there like that. Like I just
Yeah.
like I knew I needed to kind of get to the expo, but I was very uncomfortable going there, and I felt like everybody was going to just be lit, man.
I'm not gonna lie, I did too. I did too, because it was my first pre-party ever going to, so I didn't know what
Oh,
energy was
really?
gonna be in the room. Yeah, I did. I usually just go to expos. You know what I'm saying? If I go,
Yeah,
I go to the expo. But I never went to a pre-party before. I was glad that they did it. And another reason I wanted to was because I had a big part in this expo too. So I wanted to make sure, I was completely fully
yeah.
supporting the people and everything.
It was so funny, man. When I was telling, I was lightweight starstruck, or D, when I saw Armani, because when I first heard about the event, right? I'm seeing all these like big people when they like showcasing like who's gonna be an educator, who's gonna be at the thing or whatever. And so I see this guy, right? I'm like, man, like who is this guy, right? And so I didn't know what to expect, and I kind of got a chance to meet some people before I met Armani. And all of these people are like big people, man, like big followings, very charismatic, have a lot of vibrato, or have a lot of um vibrato's not the right term, but they just have a lot
Energy,
of
it's the
personality.
energy.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like this, I was like, man, okay, I'm not none of these people, but I want to connect with them.
Hmm.
And so I got a chance to meet different ones, but for some reason, Armani, you stood out, bro. You stood out on the flyer. On the flyer, you
Hmm.
stood out, and I think you were the only one at the top.
I was.
Now, did you pay for that? Anyways,
Nah.
so
No siree, Bob.
so when I saw you, I figured you were somebody like humongous, because
I
I
am.
was like,
He said, "I am. I'm him.
I'm
so
him.
I
Timothy."
saw correctly. Yeah, I am Himothy.
Hey, little did you know, all week I was shaking in my boots for that education class and who I was going to be on stage before. Golly, I was nervous as heck.
Yeah, man. But no, so when I got a chance to meet you, man, and I saw how down to earth you were, it just gives light to what you said about a lot of the people that we may put up as, quote unquote celebrities or big time people. They
Mm,
really are real people,
Mhm.
yeah,
and you can go easily talk to them, and you can not have to be afraid, or not even have to be starstruck from
intimidated.
the standpoint, yeah, where you're intimidated and you don't feel like you can speak to them as a person.
Mhm.
Like,
Hmm. Hmm.
you kind of get that feeling sometimes,
Hmm.
if and some people act like that though. Some
Yeah.
people,
Oh, yeah.
they do give that little, oh, you can't talk to me right now. Who are you? What's your name? Okay, I don't know you. Some people do you like that, but most of the ones that we all look up to, they really are ready to talk. Like they come
Mhm.
there
Yeah.
expecting and desiring to be able to pour into you as a young barber, up and coming barber, or beauty professional. Like they really care about being able to help your progression. So
Hmm.
if you come there knowing that you want to progress, then you'll get fed, because people are
Oh,
there.
yeah. It's the givers. It's the givers. And like you said,
Yeah.
Mhm.
just be there open to receiving. If you go to these events open to receiving, you can get so much from them. You can get so much from just seeing from just the latest clippers or
Yeah.
seeing some cool haircuts. There's a lot of hidden nuggets and gems hidden throughout these expos. You just got to know where to look for them. That's really what
Yeah.
it comes down to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I got two questions. I got two more questions, but I know Delmar, you probably have something that you wanted to say, so I'm gonna hold off
Hmm.
real quick.
Nah, go ahead, bro.
Go ahead. All right. So I have two questions. Well, first question is, you mentioned about, you said it in different ways, but um about being goal oriented.
Hmm.
I want to know a little bit more about how significant do you think that is for the industry, barber, beauty professionals, estheticians, nail techs,
Very.
whoever. How significant is being goal oriented in your business and in your life, so that
It's
you can
very
grow?
it's very important, and I say that because there was a time that I wasn't oriented. For a long time, it was, I used to hate people saying, "Oh, this is going to be my New Year's resolution. This is my New Year's resolution." So, because for me, I was like, I mean, the New Year's just a new date. You're still the same as you was yesterday.
Yep.
Why didn't you do that yesterday?
Mhm.
And I was always like, my whole mindset was, at least as long as I'm better this year than I was last year, then I'm good. And it wasn't enough because it didn't give me tangible things to reach for. And
Yeah.
that's what it comes for. And that's what it comes down to. And that's what goals do. That's what goals at the beginning of the year. So I don't set New Year's resolutions like, oh, I'm gonna change this year. No, these are just going to be my goals for the year. And so now let me aspire to reach them. I had goals of, I'm going to schedule 6 classes, blew that out the water. I want to make this much more money. I want to get more things not known about my finances. I want to get entrepreneur mentor. I want to get these things done. I also said I wanted to go to one expo or something, do something outside the shop once a month. Having setting those goals gives you something to reach for and to
Yeah.
achieve. And even setting those goals for behind the chair, I want to try and get this many more clients, I want to try and get these people rebooked, or it gives you the motivation, so you're just not just mundane, just walking through and letting the tides take you wherever they want to take you. You can steer your ship.
Yeah.
That's the difference. A lot of people are just in the sea, just kind of going with the motions instead of genuinely understanding that they can steer their own ship. But
Yeah.
it all starts with themselves. That's just really what it all comes down to, is your what's it, your paradigm, how you look and how you look at the world. And so if you're not looking at it with having structure for your life, then you're just going to be going with the flow all the time. And that may work for you, but it's not enough. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You won't know how do you know what you want to achieve if you're not setting it up for yourself? And so I set all my goals as checkpoints. None of my goals are finish lines. Not a single goal is a finish line. Because if you set it as a finish line, then you don't have any more room to grow. You get what I'm saying? These are just, all right, I did it. Now let me set a bigger goal.
Put a
You get what I'm
ceiling on
saying?
yourself.
Yeah, exactly. There's no ceilings here. I have no end goals for what I want to do. You can't ask me how much money I want to make, because really, as far as money goes, it's really not that serious. I just want my family to be, I always want my bills paid and for us to be okay. Being rich and all that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
But you don't know. You can't set a goal saying I want to make an extra 30 grand if you're not tracking.
right.
That's other stuff. You can't
Back
set
to the
those goals
roots.
for you.
Back to the
Like,
roots.
Back to the
yeah, I can't
roots.
help it. I just can't help it. But it goes back to the roots. So setting your goals comes down to knowing what you did, so you can set the goals to be better for the next year. But the goals help. In my notes, I said I have a whole bunch of goals for the year, checking them off as I go along. All right, now it's next this upcoming year, I'm gonna have a whole new set of goals. But that's what's helped me to do things as far as go to these shows. That's why it makes it seem like I'm doing so much. Is because I make sure that I am doing things outside of the shop, because I love cutting hair, but there's just so much that we can do. So I just try to make
Mhm.
it a goal to do a little bit more instead of just saying I will. I make it a goal to
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah. D, I know you want to say something, man. Go ahead, man. Talk.
Nah, he was dropping gems, man. He was dropping gems.
Yeah, he was.
I appreciate y'all.
Oh, look, young barbers. He said something about tracking your money. So this was
Okay.
something I did along. I brag on Kenny for saying using this word, but this was something I did throughout my career.
Hmm.
Go ahead, give me later, Brad.
Yeah.
But
I
this is
don't like
something I
that word,
did
but it's
throughout
a
throughout my barbering journey. I'll say that. But my first year, I tracked how much I made.
Uh-huh.
Every year after that, I tracked how much I made, and I have it in my notes.
Hmm.
And it was motivation for me because it was like seeing that. I was like, man, I made this much this year. I'm gonna aim for more next year, or I'm
That's
gonna
it.
I'm gonna do this, or I made this much this month. How much I
Hmm.
got to make to hit this goal? Okay, I'm gonna
Hmm.
do this. And you just keep yourself motivated, keep it fresh too, man. Because like you
Yep.
said, it can get mundane. We do the same thing every day. Sometimes I,
Hmm.
I I know y'all got some of the weekly people. You see them at the same time every week,
Yep.
and just your days feel like, okay, I know what's about to happen this day. It's like a cartoon.
Oh yeah. It's and
It's like a cartoon.
especially if you're a schedule based barber, because you're gonna look on
Yep.
your schedule. You're like, all right, I know how that cut's gonna go. You can plan your whole day based off
Yep.
of every client that's gonna come in the shop, which isn't a bad thing. And it's a good thing, but like you said, it gets mundane. There's
Yeah.
just it gets. We. I tell this is what I tell people when I go to my classes. Like you were feeding that entrepreneur when you decided to go to barber school. Keep feeding them after you get your license, and keep
Yep.
feeding and understanding those different things. Because if you just kill them and just sit there behind the chair forever,
Yeah.
you're gonna be upset.
It don't
You'll be
stop.
upset. It don't stop.
Another thing I want to highlight that you said too was it's not about being rich or having the most money. Now,
Hmm.
to that, you do as an entrepreneur, especially as a man who married provider, you do want to
Hmm.
try to make the most money that you can make. But
Yep.
when you have something that's more important, like your family and spending time with them, and
Hmm.
you want to make sure your family taken care of, make sure your bills is paid, and just make
Hmm.
sure that you're comfortable. But
Hmm.
all that being rich stuff, man, you'll kill yourself trying to be rich if that's your goal, if that's your sole
Yeah.
purpose for being an entrepreneur, being a
Yep.
barber, beautician,
Hmm.
or whatever. But you know, all that stuff comes from a general place, a generous place when you're have real goals set in place and you're not
Hmm.
just making this, I won't be this celebrity or be, rich. I gotta have $1 million. That's my goal. I
Hmm.
gotta make 500,000. Nah, all that stuff will come later. But I mean,
Hmm.
you gotta look at what's the importance of your life.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what it comes down to. And like you said, look, just don't chase the money, because you're always gonna be running. Attract it, so it comes to you. That's
Ooh,
that's
Yeah.
just. Hmm.
bars. I
Yeah,
like
bro.
that.
Yes.
Bars.
Yes, sir. You chasing, you always running after that dollar. You know those people that no matter what, they always thinking of the next way that they can do something to
Hmm.
get the next dollar or to
Yeah.
Hmm.
you get what I'm saying? And they always look burnt out and they always look like, I'm gonna try and do this. Let me do this. But they always starting the next business to try to make the next dollar.
Yep.
And it never seems like they have enough
Hmm.
Yeah.
because you'll never have enough if that's
The
all
eye
that
is
you
never
want.
full, man.
You,
Hamster
you,
on the
you
wheel.
never,
Full.
yeah, it's never gonna be enough. So the only thing that I want is my time. As long as I have control over that, and I can do what I want with that. Everything else is going to everything else is going to come. The dollars are going to come, and I do understand. Like we have to make enough to support
Yeah.
and to maintain our families and our lifestyle. Can't be no boo boo fools. Money is needed to
No.
make the world go round,
Exactly.
but that's not everything that it comes down to. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That's why if y'all seen my barber, if y'all seen Fade Talk, uh, Bradford Kelly episode 2, he was trying to say it's not about the money, it's how you manage you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's how you manage you.
Yeah. Man, see, oh, this is good. Like I want to like keep going, but
We need a
Hey,
part
I
two.
ain't,
time is of the essence.
I ain't going
Time is
nowhere.
of the
We
essence.
need a part two.
We definitely need a part two, man.
We can't
Mm,
give them everything on money.
Yeah, yeah.
I
I keep
won't look because
keep them
then they
hungry
won't go to my
for more.
class. They won't go to my
Yeah,
class.
that's right.
Oh man. So this is like off subject, but not really because it's still
Mhm,
regarding our industry.
mhm.
But I wanted to ask you, what do you feel about booking platforms? Now, you don't have to share anything specific about your particular one, but
Okay.
what are the benefits that you
Mhm.
notice with booking platforms, and what are some of the cons that you have noticed with some of the booking platforms? Like if you could change something, what would those changes be?
Okay. Booking platforms have been very beneficial. I've been on them since I got my license. Booksy was one of the booking platforms that was kind of
Oh, name
starting to
dropped
get
already.
really big. I'm name dropping. I
You're
don't care.
name
Look at
dropping.
here. Name dropping. Pay me. I'm saying. No. And I say that because that was the one I saw barbers kind of gravitate into that. And for me, I realized that using a booking system, no matter which one it was, gave me control over my time. It's not like it was back in the day. Walk into the barber shop, put your name on the wall, and we gonna call you when we can get to you. Um, it gave me a chance to know how my day would be when I woke up. When I first got my license, I was cutting hair all the way in Napa and driving from Walnut Creek. So I wasn't trying to drive out there for nothing. Um, and having a booking app gave me a chance to just have my time back in my hands and getting people on the schedule and getting people like booking the way I wanted to because people don't understand that you can train your clients. You can train your clients to be on the system the way that you want them to be on. It's all about you. You can't there's a lot of businesses that you have to have appointments for. You can't just walk in. And I feel like for me, having a booking system was just a good way to generate that as far as keeping my time concise. And a booking system is a good way to get clients that don't know who you are in your chair. I get a lot of new clients based off of my booking system, using it properly. It is about using them properly, using the features that they have, like the boost features and things like that, and making your profile look as professional as possible to constantly obtain new clients through booking. I get probably the majority of my new clients through my booking system. Um, so utilizing that works compared to being that barber that's just having 30 people text you all day and you trying to figure out where to put them in. And I know barbers still like that to this day, don't use booking systems and they're all over the place. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't help. It's not beneficial. So it's really beneficial to have a booking system. And now the cons, I can't really think of one. I can't think
Really?
of. I mean,
There's no improvement. They're
Mm.
just perfect.
no, nothing's perfect.
Okay, so
Nothing
what's some
absolute.
improvements?
Maybe on certain booking apps, you can make sure. Like, okay, some booking apps I know they don't have the feature to where a client can put their card on file to where you can have a cancellation policy. So making sure your clients can have cancellation policy. Um, to keep it real, the booking app that I use has been so good for me personally and has helped my business grow so much that I can't say that there's a bunch of cons that goes with it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Because it's been really beneficial for me. But I think it's all about how you use these tools. That's really what it comes down to. If you're not using it to the best of your ability to, and to keep it real with you guys, I use two booking apps. I don't even use one. So I have two separate calendars that I have to manually go. Oh, you know what? That's a good thing. Being able to combine two calendars on two separate apps so they can work together simultaneously, that would be very beneficial, and that would help me a lot. So there you go. That's something that they can do.
So
Yeah. You look, talk
you,
myself right into it.
that's right. That's right. So you would prefer two different. So explain that. Explain
Okay, like this.
why that
So
works.
I've been using Booksy. I'll just name drop. I've been using
Keep
Booksy.
doing it.
Am I not supposed to? Am I not supposed to? Y'all not
I don't
telling me.
know. I don't want
We
them
ain't
to
trying to
try.
get on no free promo.
Yeah.
Y'all
They might
Nah,
so
come
I'm messing
shut
with
us
you, bro.
down, man. No, go
Hey,
ahead.
but hey, me and them we close though. We tight. So I gotta rep my squad. So like I'm
Okay.
tight with
All
them.
right.
It's just one of those. So I'm sorry to everybody else. All right. I'm gonna name drop my other one just to make y'all upset.
No, go ahead. Share
Okay,
that
I
with us
will.
again.
Look, okay, so I do use Booksy. That's the one I've been using for years. I think all of them are very good for whatever just helps is beneficial for you. I like that one because it was the number one app for just our industry for the longest time. I got used to it. I got comfortable with it, and using it so much, it's been very beneficial to me. But I also my now the barbershop I work at also has their own booking app. And so now, and I realized that after working there for a couple of months, that when I wasn't completely on their booking app, I was just doing myself a disservice by not getting the clients from their booking app to also
Mhm.
book with me. And so, me being a very organized person that I am, I figured I could handle having two booking apps. It shouldn't be too big of a problem. And so I got on my shop's booking app as well. So now I get the clients that can see me on their app, they book on that page. I get my own Booksy clients as well. And so I just have to make sure that both my calendars, if I get a client in one, I just go and put it in the other and just vice versa. It could be a lot depending on who you are. I just have no problems with using my apps like that. I just wish that both calendars could be married together so they could just, do it themselves, but they don't. That's just how it is.
Okay. So you use two different booking apps.
Hmm.
You have to manually do it. Now, would it be more beneficial? But you're saying it's based on your shop. So your shop is
Hmm.
they have their own.
So
Because
I, I,
I'm trying to think like what if a booking app created it where you could have two different schedules?
that'd be
Like you
pretty
didn't
cool.
have to take two different apps and put them together, but you were able to have two different schedules.
Hmm.
I don't know. I'm trying to
Hmm.
understand how it would work.
Yeah, I think it would be I mean, I could really just try to filter all my Booksy clients to that shop. You get what I'm saying? To my shop's booking app. But then at the same time, what's it called? But at the exact same time, the shop's booking app, all of our clients are mixed together, all because it's just the shop's app that we're all on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then it would be hard to mix in my clients. It'd be hard to send out my notifications and stuff
Mhm.
of a such. So I use that. I use my shop's booking app almost like a walk-in thing. You get what I'm saying? I get a client off of there. All right, put it on. But I don't reach out to all the clients on the shops that talking about come book with me and things like that. Not the same way that I have control over my own Booksy. If a shop client wants to become my personal client, I can tell them you can book with me on Booksy, or you can keep booking me wherever you are. You know what I'm saying? Um, but it's not. It's just been. I have found more benefit from being on both of the apps than not.
IG is saying that they can't hear you. They
Me?
can't, yeah, they can't hear
Oh, can you
you.
hear me? Can you hear me now?
IG, can y'all hear the elevated barbers?
Can y'all hear us all now?
Yeah, hopefully they can hear.
Oh, all right. Hopefully you can hear us now.
Some people are
But yeah, so booking apps can be
okay.
very
They're good.
beneficial or not. It just depends on how organized you are.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Well, those was my two. That was my two questions, man. I wanted to dig in your mind about booking apps because there's so many different options.
There's a lot of options.
And
Mhm.
you really do have to kind of know. You have to know what you value. You know,
Hmm.
out of the out of the booking platform that you use, whatever booking platform you use, because
Yeah.
if you don't know the type of business that you want to run, then you will really be getting booked out of hope instead of learning how to book with power, right? Like
Hmm.
your book or your schedule is really permission for someone to take over your time and energy. Like that's what
Yeah,
you're
that's
doing.
true.
And okay, you can take over my time and energy for for however
Yeah.
long you want to. You it could be for a facial, it could be for whatever, but it's still your time and your energy
Hmm.
that you're allowing someone else to kind of take control of. And
No,
so
I agree.
you don't really comprehend how to manage this part of your business, then you will get taken advantage of. You know, I've had
Hmm.
so many different people. That's really I had to really get very keen on how like a strategy on how to have my menu, how a strategy on how to have my pricing, and a
Hmm.
strategy on how I used windows of time to allow people to schedule
Yeah.
with me because I realized that my clients unknowingly because I didn't understand how to give them the structure to follow, they were doing stuff just to get over. Like they was booking out of safety, booking out of
Mhm.
because they knew I was going to be booked up. So they would just get on
Yep.
the schedule just to save a spot. And then they would
Oh yeah. No.
or they would
Mm-mm.
reschedule or they would cancel at the last second. You know, and I'd be like, "Man, like why is this happening?" And so I really had to get into strategy mode. Like I turned into a business owner instead of just staying behind the chair of the technician, like you
Hmm.
always talk about. Like
Yeah.
I had to get into the space of saying, and this is one of the biggest keys that you can take away as barber and beauty professionals is you can't really blame
Hmm.
people for being people. Like
No.
you have to understand that people are going to be people. It's how you allow people to affect your business. So if you don't really understand how your business is running and you like Armani was saying, you're just kind of like winging it to a certain degree, you're kind of just allowing
Hmm.
things, you're letting the sea take you at will,
No
then
structure.
no structure,
None. No
then
structure.
you can't be mad at them for being themselves. Like
Yep.
they're gonna
No.
do what they're gonna do. So yeah, it's just the way that people structure their business and especially on the booking side is such a huge factor to if they're going to be making more money than
Hmm.
than making more money over time or if they're going to be losing money every day. So
True. Now, Bradford, now may I ask you this real quick, and I'm asking questions, because you alluded to two things to clients, to you booking like booking in faith, just hoping that people book and things like that, and clients canceling last minute. Now, Bradford, do you have your own? Do you have a cancellation policy?
I sure do.
Okay, I figured you did. Yes,
Yeah.
and did you master like the art of rebooking your clients to take that control back, that power back?
Well,
Is that?
yes.
Hmm.
Yes, I've mastered the art of rebooking, but more than
Hmm.
rebooking, I've mastered the art of understanding how my books allow people to get on. And that's a different
Oh, yeah,
it's a
that's a different thing
difference
that people
because you
don't
can
understand.
schedule people as much as
Hmm.
you want and
Hmm.
you're still scheduling and I'm trying not to go too deep into the education, but it's good for people to understand this is because your schedule is really an agreement between you and someone else for you to for them to be able to take over your time and energy.
Hmm.
You have to understand the strategy behind the way your schedule is set up. And when I say the schedule, I mean the way that people can do the what's that game called where it's like Tetris, right? So how
Hmm.
people get on, you have to understand the strategy behind that. There's a strategy
Yeah,
so that you can make the most amount of money possible for a
I
day.
understand what you're saying. I understand what
You
you're
know what I
saying.
mean? So
Yeah,
it's not about just booking them again, because then
no,
you
it's about
get to the
utilizing
mindset
those times.
it's about really understanding time and how to
Hmm.
maximize it. And
Yeah.
things that really matter the most is how you price things and then how your menu like what they can schedule, like what can they do.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
if you have it set up the wrong way, then you're going to be automatically losing money for your time and not realize it. there's one thing that I always say, and I say this in the education, is if you're not understanding how to double up on your money per minute, then you're losing money per minute. So
I agree. I agree completely.
All right. So this is that's like a little sneak peek to my power.
Man, we about to take over the U.S. with this education tour. You gotta stop, boy. Get the tour bus ready.
That's what is that? That's the power booking class I have. So I go into that. I go into that. But I think this is a good episode, D. I think this is a good one, man.
Yeah, this was great. Yeah, this is great, man. We appreciate you coming on the show, Armani. We're gonna do a part 2. We're gonna do a part 2.
Whenever you're ready. You know, look, Bradford called me on the fly, and I was ready. So look, whenever y'all ready, I'm here.
Man. Part 2 for sure. Like you're a genuine person. I haven't had the chance to meet you in person. Brad has, but just the engagement that we have with each other on social media, and now doing this virtually on StreamYard. I shouldn't have name dropped, but on StreamYard, on our podcast, the Elevated Barbers Podcast.
We can't be doing no promotions on here. I get
we can't be doing no free promos.
Y'all been name dropping the whole episode.
Well, you're gonna have to teach me. This is my look here. It's my second podcast ever.
But now we just appreciate you taking time out your busy schedule, man, to be a part of our show, be a guest. And you have so much wisdom and so many gems, man. So definitely looking forward to doing some work together in the future.
I appreciate you guys. Yeah, same here. Honestly, from day one, from Bradford to you, Delmar, you guys have both been amazing, like-minded gentlemen that I'm glad that I connected with. This podcast that you guys have is something that our industry needs. And I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to be on this space with you guys. And I'm for sure most definitely ready for that part 2, man. I am ready.
Yes, sir. Before you end the show, Brad, I just want to say Six-Figure Hair Pro said we need to get them on the show. So Six-Figure Hair Pros, if you're listening, we're gonna be in contact soon. We're gonna try to get you on the show.
Absolutely. And I think today has been a fantastic episode. All of you that will be watching this on YouTube, please drop some comments in the comment section. Say what you liked about this. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Turn your notifications on because we are dropping gems every time we get on the Elevated Barbers Podcast. And so one last time from Armani, please give them a good, healthy goodbye.
Look, this is Fadezbyarmani coming at you with the business-minded barber and the Prince. This is Elevated Barbers Podcast. I appreciate y'all for spending some time with me, dropping gems. Listen out for some barber keys and some more fade talk, and we're going to catch y'all on the next one.
Absolutely. We will see y'all next time. Peace.
Peace. Peace.